Today we get to peek behind the curtain of the legendary Stanford Golf Course, where Tiger Woods and Tom Watson homed their games in college. Not too many people are lucky enough to play this course, so a huge thanks to the philosopher for bringing me out and letting me share the experience with you. This course doesn't have the panache or stuffiness of a private club, but its rating is 4 strokes harder than par from the tips, so it's as true a test of golf as I've ever seen. The course starts gently, with an elevated tee shot on the par 5 first. We're also joined by the professional who runs the driving range, so we have no shortage of course knowledge throughout the day. And here on the first hole, the knowledge is to avoid the bunker short left of the green at all costs. Well, we technically did it, and I'm lucky enough to hit a good one here and have about 8 feet for birdie. It doesn't drop, and we'll settle for a par on 1. Virtually every tee shot at Stanford requires that you pick a target carefully, and after executing well here, I'm reminded that I'm not a scratch golfer.
That's one way to miss.
I find that a lot of amateurs rush their shots around the greens, and here I take the extra second to pick a landing spot, and it pays off. I hit my target and leave myself a very makeable par putt here. But unfortunately, we're starting slowly with these today, and I'll have to settle for bogey. The course is originally a George C. Thomas design. It was remodeled in '68 by Robert Trent Jones, and then in 2003 and 4, this 3rd and 4th hole were redeveloped as back-to-back par 3s. I summon my inner Tiger here. This one's right at the flagstick.
Woo!
That is our pitch mark. That is the ball. We'll repair our pitch mark and tap in for birdie. Or not.
Can't miss those.
The flat stick is failing so far, and we'll have to take a 3 here. It took me way too long to figure out that it's easier for me to try to get 5 more yards out of an 8-iron than to back off a 7-iron. This one's good, and I have a very slick downhiller, and a 2-putt is just fine here. After hitting a good drive here on 5, once again I take an extra second to make a smarter club selection. I only have 150 in, but I'm in a bad lie and decide to play for the back of the green number at about 175. It works out, and the long lag putt is good, and it's another par here on 5. 6 plays as stroke hole 1, owing mostly to the narrow landing zone off the tee. I take some off of my drive, and I'm lucky to be in the middle of the fairway. But unfortunately, my second shot with the 5 hybrid isn't much better than the first. And out of the bunker here, I play this one well over the green. But once again, I stop to take an extra second to read this putt. But it doesn't always work out. The fringe held that one up a ton, and I'll still be left with about 12 feet for bogey.
Oh, wow.
And unfortunately, we take a double here on 6. There are only 3 par 5s at Stanford, and this one is definitely the most gettable. I have about 230 in, and even though my forward is usually a 220 club, this one is striped. It actually winds up over the back of the green. And I took my time to pick a landing spot here, but unfortunately it rolls out a ton, and I'll have about 12 feet for birdie here.
One time.
Finally, the flat stick cooperates. The final par 3 on the front dares you to be stupid and take aim at this flag. I move myself as far left as I can on the tee box and just take aim at the middle of the green. Mission accomplished, and I'll have about a 30-foot slider down the hill here. And even though we're not making a ton of short ones, the lag putting is fine, and we'll take another 3 here. The 9th is a tight dog leg, and lucky for me, the driver just continues to cooperate. And with this uphill approach, this one barely catches the front of the green before rolling out. And we'll have about 20 feet for bird here. And we'll take 1 more par. That's about as well as I can play tee to green. I gave myself a chance to hit every green, and did manage to hit all but 2 of them. It was only the flat stick that let us down on the front with 17 putts, and we'll take 2 over going into the back. The back 9 features more elevation change than the front, and the challenge continues to be avoiding strategically placed bunkers off the tee. This one's playing a full 2 clubs uphill. And I hit this one well and it actually goes over the back of the green. I'll take my time with this one too, stopping below the hole and picking a spot just left of the pin where I want my ball to start losing steam.
Nicely done. Here it comes. Here it comes.
It works out very well, and I'll have a nice tap-in par here. This short and narrow hole wouldn't typically be a driver hole, but with the way I'm hitting it today, I decide to pull it out, and I leave myself just about 100 yards in. I catch this one a full inch behind the ball, but the golf gods are smiling on me, and it rolls up to almost pin high. It's a good effort here, and just another par.
Oh, yeah.
The philosopher stripes one here.
Woo! Bingo.
I take a line a little more left of these trees, and I'm not quite sure what I make of this hole, because I have a good line to the green here, and the philosopher, despite putting one in the middle of the fairway, is totally boxed out. My long approach finds a bunker, and I'll play out of it to about 25 feet. The lag putt's okay, and this is another hole where we're okay carding a bogey. This is the only really flat par 4 on the back. There are some fairway bunkers to skirt off the tee, and a few greenside as well. But our driver finds the fairway, and our 7-iron winds up at only about 10 feet. And man, it would be nice to make some of those today, but we won't complain with a par. The miss short of this green is deadly. I grab an extra club, but then make the mistake of backing off of it. And from down in the gully, my chip is no good and barely finds the front of the green. But I did manage to settle myself before hitting this putt. It's a decent lag and we'll get out of here with a bogey. The philosopher says that this shot calls for a fade, and I know I'm having a good driver day when I can work it both ways. But I am a bit boxed out here, and I do not make the mistake of being foolish and trying to play over this tree at the pin. The plan is just get it on the green. And even though this is about a 50-foot lag putt, I'm happier leaning on that part of my game than anything else. It's a good effort here that will leave me about 3 feet, and I knock it home. When Tom Watson got his tee ball beyond a fence on the right of this hole, he went for the green in 2. I'm behind the fence, and make the foolish decision of pulling the forward anyway, and put it right into a fairway bunker about 70 yards short of the green. I'll actually get away with this one. And with about 40 feet here, I hit maybe my only bad lag putt of the day. Rolls about 6 or 7 feet past the hole, and unfortunately I missed the comebacker and settle for my first 3 putt of the day. The final par 3 of the day plays a full club uphill. The 5-iron's good and I'll have about 25 feet here. And we can't get any of these to drop today, but no complaints with the 3 here.
Right there. Oakland over there.
The golf gods had to give me a dose of humility here on 18. It's my first stray drive of the day and I'll have to punch out. That wasn't exactly where I wanted it, but I will have about 100 yards in here. This one pitches pin high and rolls just a foot or 2 off the back. And that's a bit of a misread and a mishit there, and we'll settle for bogey. My game's been running a bit hot and cold lately, and I've got to admit that playing different courses every week and lugging my camera around can feel like a bit of a task. But days like this make it feel worthwhile. I'm very pleased carding a 6 over at Stanford, and a special thanks again to the philosopher for bringing me out.